We are going to do today the easiest topic of sea floor spreading, plate tectonics, उसका impact, theories of mountain building, पुरानी theory geosyncline theory, new theories of mountain building, plate tectonic theory, and how the different kind of the mountains are formed. So, start हो गया? कनेक्शन आ रहा है, फाइन. सो let's have a quick look at the videos on plate tectonics. इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है, सो वॉइस की. What is this? The continental drift theory. Breaking of the continents. This is what is the Pangea was. Wagner. Continents drifting apart. Evidences, rocks, etc. on the either side of the continents, fossils on the either side of the continents. नहीं ठीक है. Now, afterwards, the seafloor spreading found in between an S-shaped continuous mountain system, what we call it as a mid-Atlantic ridge. Because of the formation of the mid-Atlantic ridge, a new theory came which is known as a seafloor spreading. Seafloor spreading can be asked as a different theory in itself. Yes, seafloor spreading is one of the evidence of continental drift. Seafloor spreading is also an evidence of plate tectonics, because this shows कि the seafloor is spreading, मतलब ये continental drift में use करो या इसको use करो in the divergent plate boundary. Fine. Why? Due to the convectional currents that rise from the heated interior of the earth. This is what is the magnetic anomaly we had seen. Harry Hess, seafloor spreading theory. Convectional currents, divergent plate boundary, earthquakes, and this is how the crust is breaking. Evidences, undersea volcanic eruptions, presence of mountain system. Seafloor spreading ultimately led to the formation of the theory of plate tectonics, in which we divide the world into numerous plates. Some of the plates are oceanic, some is continental plate, yeah, mixture of both. This is what is the plates, and or this is what are the plates, the plate tectonic theory. Fine. तो कुछ जगह there is a convergent plate boundary, मतलब the two plates are coming near each other. कुछ जगह there is a divergent plate boundary, the plates are going away from each other. वही मेरा वाला example convectional current वाला. So the same they applied to the earth. किसकी theory है convectional currents? Arthur Holmes. This is how they break. Once they break, the magma will rise up, and after rising upwards, it will result into formation of solidification in different forms. And thus, it is neither the continental drift, it is neither only the seafloor spreading, it is the plate tectonic theory. And thus, it will be created and destroyed. Can the continental crust break? Yes, we have seen continental crust also can break in the regions of rift. Earthquakes, वो सब are an outcome of the plate tectonic theory. So there are three convergent plate boundaries, divergent plate boundary away from each other, और एक है transform plate boundary. They slide past each other. Fine. Convergent plate boundary जहाँ पे the two convectional currents are meeting. ये सब किसने बताया? Not the Arthur Holmes. Arthur Holmes just said कि force. ये सब बताया plate tectonic theory में. This was the sea floor. ये हम ये लिखने वाले हैं, and the same answer will be for the divergent plate boundary. अब you see how the magma is rising. Magma is rising easily because of the crack being formed. पहले केस में, not in this. पहले केस में the magma was rising easily because the crack is being formed. इसको हम कहेंगे rift volcanoes. Rift or silent kind of an volcanic eruption because already crack hai. In the convergent plate boundary, the magma will rise up with a great force, and it is always near the ocean continent collision. So magma will go below, and after that it will rise up. When it rises up, it will blast the top of a mountain. इसको हम कहेंगे convergent or violent volcanoes. The best example is the Pacific Ring of Fire. Maximum amount of volcanic eruptions according to ये जितने भी dots है ये सारे world के volcanoes है. 60% of the world's volcanoes are located in this belt of the Pacific Ring of Fire, and they are mountainous. They are not plateau-like. Plateau-like features will be formed in the divergent plate boundaries. What is this? Folding. No volcanoes in case of Himalayas because both the crust are continental crust, and therefore we have some of the mighty mountains such as Himalayas. That is the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate. वहाँ पे क्या नहीं है? Volcanoes नहीं है. यही आंसर हमें लिखना है जो इस वीडियो में है. दैट दो अल्फ्रेड वेगनर वाज रॉन्ग इनिशियली बट अल्टीमेटली इट रिजल्टेड इनटू द प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थियरी. इस वीडियो ने भी किसको क्रेडिट दिया है प्लेट टेक्टोनिक का? द अल्फ्रेड वेगनर, बिकॉज ही वाज द फर्स्ट पर्सन हु ब्रॉट इन सिस्टमैटिकली कि ऐसे हो सकता है. फाइन. Clear with this? Clear with this? Clear with this? Drifted into different continents. Video नहीं है, PPT type है ये video. Evidences. What is the difference? Difference is the instead of continents drifting, this says Earth's crust is broken into several plates. Plates can move up to 2 inches or 3 inches every year. That is, there will be variation, and this is how remember the plates will be. You will have to know this diagram by heart. अगर बना सकते हो तो very fine. If the question comes on the plate tectonics, fine. So this is how the Arabian plate, African plate, ये है छोटा Arabian plate. This is the Indian plate. This is the Australian plate, sometimes known as Indo-Australian plate. Indian plate ka end is our land India, fine, but Indian plate is this big. Nowadays geologists divide that into Indo-Australian plate. NCERT कहता है Indo-Australian plate. Geography, अभी recent geography is dividing it into Indian plate and the Australian plate, two different plates. उसका reason is now because there is a spreading here. अब ये टूट रही है, fine. Otherwise this was Indo-Australian plate. हमारे बिल्कुल काम की नहीं Antarctic plate, South American plate, African plate. Moving against each other. यही कहा था continental drift ने, fine. So South American plate is the continent South America, some part of Atlantic Ocean. African plate is the continent Africa plus some part of the Atlantic Ocean. North American plate is the continent North America plus some part of the Atlantic Ocean. Same Eurasian plate is the continent Eurasia, Asia and Europe plus some part of the Atlantic Ocean. Then but there is one plate which is totally oceanic in nature, and ये जो yellow color की है, this is what is the Pacific plate. Is Indian plate very big? Yes. If you consider Indian plate as per NCERT or as per standard conventional thinking, Indian plate starts from here, India, mainland India, उसके boundary पे Himalayas. Similarly, इसके boundary पे Rockies, Andes, fine, Atlas, Alps. So Indian plate starts from here, then is the Indian Ocean, then is the Indian Ocean, then is Australia, and end of the Indian plate when it is colliding with the Pacific plate is New Zealand. So New Zealand is nothing but an peak of the mountains. The entire country is mountains, peak of the mountains, which are now coming above the sea. Fine. Indian plate की दूसरी boundary अंडमान निकोबार, इंडोनेशिया, colliding with the Eurasian plate. यहाँ पे क्यों सबसे ज़्यादा सुनामी? देखो, this is the region of tri-junction of three big plates: Pacific plate, Indian plate, Eurasian plate, and एक छोटी plate, Philippines plate. जहाँ पे दो Philippines plate and the Pacific plate is colliding, we have the deepest trench of the ocean, that is the Mariana Trench. Fine. There are certain small plates, जैसे minor जो इतनी important नहीं है. One is the Philippines plate, दूसरा is Juan de Fuca plate, तीसरा is Cocos plate, fourth is the Nazca plate, fifth is the Arabian plate. But Bhuj का earthquake क्यों होता है? Because Arabian plate की boundary देखिए गुजरात. That is why Bhuj is famous for the earthquakes in Gujarat. These are the smaller plates, जैसे Scotia plate, not that important. But this entire theory which explains क्यों earthquakes है, क्यों volcanoes है, why there are some of the mountains, why some mountains do not have volcanoes, why the mountains are aligned in such manner, why the height of the mountains keeps on increasing, why in between there is mid-oceanic ridge which is S-shaped or which is continuous. And this continuous mountain system, which runs for 78,000 kilometers unbroken, is the longest mountain in the world. क्यों है ऐसा? This all can be explained with the help of a plate tectonic theory. How did we come to know about all these things? We came to know because of the seafloor spreading theory. During the World War II, while looking for the enemy submarines and while laying the telegraph cable, Harry Hess, who was again not a geographer, he was US का Navy engineer, discovered that there are some of the mountains, and then this ultimately led to the formation of the seafloor spreading theory. I don't know what is happening to the internet connection. चलो, we'll then look at the diagrams only. ये किसी और दिन we'll look at. Fine. If So have a connecting link between continental drift theory, उसके negatives, sea floor spreading theory, छोटा, and plate tectonic theory. इन दोनों में where did the convectional current theory go? It is not required. You should just know this is for the force. Fine. So as was given in the PPT, you can see in the video, they said during the World War II, while looking for the enemy submarines, what did the Europeans and the Americans thought? This is the America, this is the Atlantic Ocean, and they thought the Atlantic Ocean must be flat, and after that there is a European continent. But to their utter surprise, if this is the water body, they found that Atlantic Ocean is not flat, but in any ocean, if this is any continent, I am not taking America, किसी भी ocean में there is one of the deepest part of the ocean. उसके बाद there are parallel mountains in the ocean जहाँ से continuous volcanic eruption is occurring. Then there are some of the very tall mountains in the oceans. There are some valleys in the oceans. There are some mountains which are flat topped, and then there may be a continent. So in actuality, this is how the ocean floor can be. Some of the mountains may be at the top, some may be at the below. Now we are not concerned in our answer with these two mountains or with these three mountains. We are concerned with MOR, that is mid oceanic ridge, and we are concerned with ocean trenches. या उनका नाम है ocean deeps. What is this? This is Sial. This is Seema. And this is again Sial. What is happening in the Seema or Sial? There are convectional currents which are coming up and going below. So divergent. There is convectional current. Convergent. There is a convectional current. Therefore, convergence. So this is what is the concept of the sea floor spreading. ऐसे कुछ काम करनी. Is it visible? Fine. Now, because we are writing optional, we will always start our answer with the background. Then we will go to assumptions. But there are no assumptions because ये देख के पता लगता है. So sea floor spreading is very easy. Then we go to the theory, जो है. Fine. Then we go to criticism. But UPSC कभी नहीं पूछेगा criticism because it is properly seen. It is not a theory. It is basically an hypothesis which has been proved. Fine. Continental drift was a hypothesis which could not be proved. Sea floor spreading is a hypothesis which has been properly proved. So direct question आएगा, explain the concept of sea floor spreading. There is no critical analysis in sea floor spreading. Fine? Yes. Mountains. कहाँ पे डाइवर्जेंट प्लेट बाउंड्री अगर होगी या रिफ्ट वॉल्केनो होगा, अगर होगा, मैंने कहा रिफ्ट वॉल्केनो अगर होगा तो प्लाटू फॉर्म होगा. बट क्यों, कब? इफ देर इज नो वाटर मीन्स बिफोर. गुड, ही आस्क्ड द क्वेश्चन बिफोर गोइंग. जब हम मैग्मा सॉलिडिफाइज, मैग्मा और लावा विल सॉलिडिफाई टू फॉर्म mountain. अब understand, it is of two type. One is acidic, the other is basic. Acidic magma has dominance of rocks containing granite. Fine. Basic magma has dominance of rock containing basalt. एसिडिक मैग्मा की प्रॉपर्टी या एसिडिक लावा की प्रॉपर्टी इज इट इज विस्कस. बसाल्ट की प्रॉपर्टी इज इट इज फ्लूइडिक. अब इफ यू आस्क मी व्हाई इट इज फ्लूइडिक, बिकॉज ये सबसे ज्यादा गर्म होता है. इसका टेम्परेचर इज समवेयर अराउंड 6000 डिग्री सेल्सियस. सो जितना ज्यादा इट इज हॉट उतना इट इज इन द मोल्टन फॉर्मेट. कंसिडर सिचुएशन, a land. Two different scenarios. There is a acidic magma or lava which is coming. There is a basic magma or lava which is coming. The basic magma or lava will come up. जो भी crack है, imagine जो मैं line बना रहा हूँ, that is a crack. It is crack में से बाहर आया and then it will flow. Because it is fluidic, it can easily flow at the speed of 35 to 70 kilometers per hour. Fine? Thus magma will flow at the speed of 35 to 70 kilometers per hour. So it will come up, it will flow and then it will solidify. Because it will flow for a greater distance, क्या बनेगा? Plateau. Example? Deccan Plateau. Black cotton soil. But the same acidic or same basic magma, if it is coming up, क्यों solidify हो रहा है? Why it is solidifying? Because it is getting cooled. The same basic magma, if it is coming up below the water, ocean water, बाहर आते it is cooling, and therefore mountains. Getting it? Getting it? Therefore it is forming the mountains. On other hand, acidic lava or magma, and ये cracks है. It is viscous means it cannot flow for greater distances. Means it will solidify only after flowing for a shorter distance. So it is coming up, flows, getting solidified. Fine. Next time it is coming up, putting large amount of pressure, so he the other rocks will melt, it will get solidified. Third time it will come up, it will put pressure, it will get solidified. Simple line है, यहाँ पे line कितनी thick होते जा रही है, because it is putting pressure. Putting pressure, solidify. Next time this entire has to melt, put pressure, crack नहीं है, it will blow, erupt. Erupt will be thrown upwards and then it will start flowing. But before flowing for a greater distance, solidify. Next time, solidify. Solidify. So acidic magma will always result into formation of mountains. Except obviously is because it is below the water. Fine. Example in India, acidic magma का mountain, Barren Island और Karakoram range, Trans Himalayas. Mount Kailash देखा है फोटो में? Is it black in color? Yes. Why it is black in color? Volcanic है. You know where is Karakoram range? हिमालयास के ऊपर. क्यों काराकोरम कहते हैं उसको? कारा मीन्स ब्लैक, कोरम मीन्स माउंटेन, ब्लैक माउंटेन. ऑफिशियल नाम क्या है काराकोरम का? इंडियन गवर्नमेंट क्या कहती है? कृष्णा गिरी. कृष्णा मीन्स ब्लैक, गिरी मीन्स माउंटेन. गेटिंग इट? It is an example of volcanic mountain. कौन सा? ट्रांस हिमालयास. हिमालयास नहीं, क्योंकि तब तक टेथिस सी खत्म हो चुका था. You will understand this now. Background, sea floor spreading theory. All, सारे, most नहीं, सारे, except जापान. जापान ओशियन कन्वर्जेंस है, समझ में आएगा. याद रखना, बसाल्ट निकलेगा बिलो द सी, ग्रेनाइट निकलेगा बिलो द कॉन्टिनेंट. सियाल इज ग्रेनाइट एंड सीमा इज basalt. Fine. So background is during the exploration of ocean floor, during the exploration of the ocean floor, or exploration of the ocean floor during the World War II gave large amount of evidences of presence of different relief features under the ocean. Presence of different relief features under the oceans. Give me past year question booklet. Presence of different relief features under the oceans. Full stop. It was also observed that the temperatures are high around a continuous mountain system known as mid-oceanic ridge. Exam में direct लिखना mid-oceanic ridges. Temperatures are high around mid-oceanic ridge. So before we go further, tell me the difference. Mountain, hill, ridge. What is the difference? Mountain is very big. Kitna? What is the basic difference between hill and a ridge? Hill and a mountain. Kitne difference की height? देखो, it differs now. इंडिया में हम कंसिडर करते हैं 600 मीटर्स तक हिल, 600 मीटर्स के ऊपर माउंटेन. यूके में कंसिडर करते हैं 900 मीटर्स तक हिल, 900 मीटर्स के ऊपर माउंटेन. फाइन. सो इट डिफर्स फ्रॉम कंट्री टू कंट्री. तो दैट इज व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन माउंटेन एंड अ हिल. पहाड़, पर्वत. गेटिंग इट? रिज, एनी पैरेलल माउंटेन और अ हिल which runs parallel is the ridge, right? Cordilla, any mountain system, not hill, any very high mountain system जो पूरे एक साथ बने हैं, उसके बाद दूसरा माउंटेन सिस्टम जो एक साथ बना है, उसके बाद तीसरा माउंटेन सिस्टम विच एक साथ बना है, दैट इज कॉर्डिलेरा. व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन रिज एंड कॉर्डिलेरा? रिज इज लो इन हाइट, कॉर्डिलेरा आर वेरी हाइट इन हाइट. सो शिवालिक्स अलग है, पैरेलल. उसके बाद मिडल हिमालयाज है, they are parallel. Then after that they are great Himalayas. So we will call Himalayas not as a ridge because they are very high. You will call them as Cordillera. Rockies Cordillera, Andes Cordillera. Because ridge bolenge to someone will think that Himalaya is very less in height. So the difference between ridge and Cordillera is in the terms of degrees of height. The difference between mountain and hill is in the terms of degrees of height. समझे? Hills somewhere between 300 meters to 600 meters. Oh. किसका बुक था? I'll get you a new book. Fine. Should I'll ask them to clear it? It keeps on happening. इस रूम में होता रहता है. The reason is, you can see the slope. मेरा तो फिर भी कब टूटा है? संतोष सर का लैपटॉप टूटा था. अभिषेक, वहाँ बाढ़ आई है कॉफी की. बाढ़ आई है कॉफी की. They saw the presence of mountain system, that is the continuous mountain system. Now, I had asked you this because oceanography में एक question है. Though the question has been asked in oceanography, you can take down the question, is offshore acoustics, offshore acoustic studies have helped the development of seafloor spreading. Offshore acoustic studies have helped the development of seafloor spreading. We are not going to write the question, but what is the demand of the question? Tell me. हम अभी नहीं लिखेंगे. We will write this in oceanography. Acoustic means sound. So उन्होंने कहा how during the World War ultrasonic sonar was used to understand the ocean floor. How does the acoustic helps? How you can know the depth of the ocean? For example, sonar या sound waves are sent. Sound waves will be sent in this room, और कोई भी अगर there is a, for example, दीवार उधर है, उसको hit करेंगे and the sound waves will come back. They will record the time कि इसको 7 सेकेंड लगे. After that they will send a sound wave and suppose दीवार नज़दीक है और आपको hit करेगा and the sound wave will come back. 3 सेकेंड लगे. After that 2 सेकेंड लगे. That means यहाँ पे there is some kind of an obstruction after certain depth, because you already know the velocity of the sound. Fine. That means after 7 seconds, calculating the velocity of the sound, यहाँ पे there is an obstruction. क्या लिखना है इसमें? इस क्वेश्चन का डिमांड है कि हाउ ड्यूरिंग द वर्ल्ड वॉर 2, ये ओशनोग्राफी में आएगा, दे हैड डन सोनार रेडिएशन से हाउ दे गेव सिग्नल्स बिलो द ओशन, सिग्नल्स कैसे रिफ्लेक्ट होके वापस आए. सो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम जहाँ पे द साउंड वेव्स केम आफ्टर लॉन्ग टाइम, दिस वाज द रीजन ऑफ ओशनिक ट्रेंचेस. जहाँ पे द साउंड वेव्स केम at a early, this is the region of mid oceanic ridges, and जहाँ पे normal, this is the normal ocean plain. Fine. This is how the offshore acoustic studies led to the development of the continental drift. Fine. This is what we are going to write. So during the World War II, ये सिर्फ इंट्रोडक्शन में लिखेंगे. During the World War II, sonar radiations were used to map the ocean floor. Sonar radiations were used to map the ocean floor, and magnetic anomalies were also studied, and the ideal ocean floor was found to have certain features as shown in the diagram below. Explain करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Was found to have certain features as shown in the diagram below. As shown in the diagram below. Use 2 colors in the exam, black pen and blue pen, तो ही ये diagram will make sense. क्या क्या है बिलो द ओशन फ्लोर? ट्रेंचेस, मिड ओशनिक रिचेस एग्जैक्टली इन द मिडल ऑफ एन ओशन, टू पैरेलल माउंटेन्स. उसके बाद some of the mountains which can rise from the ocean floor and come even above the sea level, they are known as sea mounts. Some of the mountains जिनका top is very flat, उनको कहेंगे guyots. What? Yes. NCERT says it cannot be. Remember, that is a mistake in NCERT. Example of seamount, Barren Island, Hawaii Island. Done? Everything here is volcanic. Fine? And then surprisingly, बाद में समझ आएगा, but I am giving you अभी से, इसका age is 4.2 billion years old. मत लिखो ये. इसका age is maybe 1.2 million years old. मतलब ये यंग है, ये ओल्ड है. दिस वॉज फॉर्म्ड एज, दिस इज एज ओल्ड एज द अर्थ. इसमें क्या खासियत है? दिस पार्ट इज यंग, दिस पार्ट में भी ओल्ड, बचा हुआ पार्ट में भी ओल्डर. ये दो एक इसका है, ये दो सेम एज का है, ये दो सेम एज का है. Therefore, now how we know the age of them? Not by acoustic studies. Remember, that is through magnetic anomalies. Studying the magnet. Reverse polarity, normal polarity. हमने वीडियो देखा है. How they calculated that. Fine. So see, UPSC ने भी बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछा है. अभी तक उन्होंने मैग्नेटिक एनोमली से, they have just asked you the acoustic studies. Help the development of the sea floor spreading. 20 marks means 10 marks you should write about the acoustics and remaining 10 mark about the sea floor spreading. So it is very easy. अभी भी आप लिख सकते हो कि sonar radiations were sent. This sonar works on the principle of reflection after hitting an obstacle, and then the time is calculated to understand the depth. So more depth, and these were the deepest parts. They were located at the boundaries of the continents and they were known as trenches. Least depth in the regions of seamount, some of them, and also less depth was seen in between the ocean, and this was known as the mid-oceanic ridge. This led to the development of sea floor spreading theory by Harry Hess. Fine? So सिर्फ दिमाग खुला रखना. ऑकस्टिक्स मतलब क्या है पता होना चाहिए. अगर नहीं पता तो हिंदी में पढ़ो. हिंदी में वो लिखा है ध्वनि के क्रिया से कैसे हमें ओशन फ्लोर पता चला. सो फाइन, ध्वनि मतलब साउंड. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. Thus the Harry Hess gave his sea floor spreading theory in 1960. In 1960, sea floor spreading theory in 1960. According to Hess, take directly in points. According to Hess, the sea floor behaves like conveyor belt. Conveyor belt मतलब जो गोल घूमता है. It behaves like a conveyor belt where new oceanic crust is created. New oceanic crust is created along the mid-oceanic ridges. New oceanic crust is created along the mid-oceanic ridges, and the old oceanic crust is destroyed. The old oceanic crust is destroyed along the trenches. Old oceanic crust is destroyed along the trenches. Next point. The hot convectional currents, arising from the mantle, causes the oceanic crust to break, along the point where mid-oceanic ridges are formed. थर्ड पॉइंट, क्या होगा ब्रेक होने के बाद? विच मैग्मा इज देयर, इट विल राइज अप. द मैग्मा rises up or escapes. The magma rises up or escapes through a rupture or a rift. कुछ भी एक लिख सकते हो. Rupture or rift comes into the contact with sea water and solidifies to form parallel mountain system known as mid-oceanic ridge. Understood everything यहाँ तक? Fine. यही हो रहा है, that magma is escaping and then it is solidifying. But the sea floor spreading theory says कि ये तो continuous होगा, so as more and more magma will come, it will expand. जितना expand होगा, and the earth has to be constant, so the oceanic crust will collide with the continental crust here. The continental crust is lighter, oceanic crust is denser, and therefore the oceanic crust being denser, it will be, किसके ऊपर gravity will act more? On the oceanic crust, and therefore when the continental and oceanic crust collide, the oceanic crust will be pulled inside the mantle. So यहाँ से the oceanic crust will get pulled. Once it reaches the depth of 80 kilometers, it will melt and form a magma. अब ये magma को realize होगा, आइसोस्टैटिक एडजस्टमेंट का डायग्राम याद रखना. क्वेश्चन कभी आइसोस्टैटिक एडजस्टमेंट पे नहीं आएगा, बट यहाँ से magma is escaping, so all this will travel here in the form of convectional currents. So because of this, sea floor will be pulled और ये इस साइड आ जाएगा. So the mountain which was initially formed, ये साइड में जाएगा and a new mountain will be formed. So there will be old mountain will go along the sides. If this process has occurred for numerous years, उससे भी old mountain will be along the sides. या उससे भी ओल्ड माउंटेन विल बी अलोंग द sides. So the mountains which are red and red in color, which I am marking, they will be of the same age. This black and black color mountain will be of the same age. This shaded mountains will be of the same age. These two mountains, obviously they are of the same age. So this is how the oceanic crust will be created. But will the ocean floor expand? No, because the new oceanic crust which is being created here is being destroyed along what Harry has called them as subduction zones. Why subduction? Because it is being pulled, and subduction zones therefore are the regions of trenches. अब प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थियरी ने इसी को इंप्रूव किया एंड सेड ओशियनिक ट्रेंचेस आर ऑलवेज पैरेलल टू द माउंटेन्स, बिकॉज प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थियरी सेज जहां पे कोलिजन है जहां पे देयर इज अ फोल्डिंग एंड माउंटेन्स. फाइन. सो एक ब्लू मार्कर सोनू जी और डस्टर एक नया, इसको कॉफी लगी. So you can draw the diagram. Very easy theory. Now the question, हमारा अभी तक आंसर खत्म नहीं हुआ. Should we draw the diagram? Answer is always. Always make the diagram in the first part. कभी ऐसे मत करना कि पूरा सब कुछ लिखा और डायग्राम एंड में बनाया. पहले आदत रखो पॉइंट से पहले या पॉइंट के जस्ट बाद डायग्राम बनाने की एंड देन कंटिन्यू करने की. एग्जामिनर देखेगा आपका डायग्राम इज इन डिटेल, वो शायद आपका आंसर पढ़े भी ना, सिर्फ कीवर्ड्स जो आप अंडरलाइन करोगे उसको देख के ही विल मूव अहेड. फाइन. कौन सा? देखो ये दो माउंटेन सेम एज के हैं, ये और ये माउंटेन सेम एज का है, इसलिए हमने शेडिंग सेम रखी. ये और ये माउंटेन सेम एज का है. हाँ, बाहर आया. हाँ, तो वही है ना कि जो बाहर आया वो फ्रीज हुआ. फाइन. जो बाहर आया वो फ्रीज हुआ, उसके बाद वो यहां पे मूव हुआ, नया फॉर्म हुआ माउंटेन. फिर वो यहां पे मूव हुआ, उस जगह नया फॉर्म हुआ. जो पुराने माउंटेन्स थे वो साइड साइड में चले जाएंगे. ए और ये सेम एज, ये और ये सेम एज, ये और ये सेम एज, ये और ये सेम एज. राइट. हाँ, बट सी फ्लोर बीच में से स्प्रेड हो रहा है ना, इससे ये और ये अभी बनी है सेम है. जो लास्ट है ये ए और ये ए एक एज का है, ये ओल्डर है ना. हाँ, हाँ, तो ये है ना, ये यंगेस्ट क्रस्ट है, ये ओल्ड है. क्यों? क्योंकि ये माउंटेन बन के यहाँ स्प्रेड हो गया. अब ये माउंटेन सपोज ये सबसे पहले बना था, अब सी फ्लोर एक्सपांड हो गया, वो इसलिए इस पोजीशन में आ गया. उसके बाद ये बना था, अब वो इस पोजीशन में आ गया. उसके बाद ये बना था, अब इस पोजीशन में आ गया. एंड यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड इन द डायग्राम इफ यू लुक प्रॉपरली, हाइट इज डिक्रीजिंग एज वी गो अवे. Why? जितना older उतना exogenetic processes are acting and therefore height is decreasing. Height decreasing होनी चाहिए, height should not be the same. तो ही तो पता चलेगा कि it is old. Ultimately mountain बचेगा ही नहीं और सिर्फ flat बन जाएगा like this. क्यों? External forces are now acting. पानी उसको destroy कर देगा. Blue marker. So these two rocks always are of rocks equidistant, at an equal distance away from the mid-oceanic ridge are of the same age. Jitna you are away from the mid-oceanic ridge, utna is the older rock. Understood the theory? Everyone? लिख सकते हो खुद से ही. How will be the volcanic eruption? Strong या normal? या silent? Silent, क्योंकि धरती फट रही है. Magma is getting a place to escape. Therefore, it will be silent. Had the earth not been breaking, तो magma would have to break. अब you are giving a place for magma to escape. That is why हमेशा earth, while the mid-oceanic ridge में earthquake will be very silent kind of an earthquakes, जो tsunami कभी नहीं cause करेंगे. कहाँ पे violent are the earthquakes? जहाँ पे धरती close हो रही है. That is convergent plate boundary. यहाँ पे the gap is being formed. उस gap में से magma can easily escape. Getting it? Can I continue? So next point. Thus, a new oceanic crust is created along the mid-oceanic ridges. Will you write bar mid-oceanic ridge? No, just write MOR. Fine, in capitals. Along the mid-oceanic ridges. Next point. The rocks equidistant away from the mid-oceanic ridges. The rocks equidistant means at equal distance away from the mid-oceanic ridges belong to the same age because as the sea floor spreads, older mid-oceanic ridges are destroyed and forms a part of oceanic crust, while the new mid-oceanic ridges are created. Forms a part of oceanic crust while new mid-oceanic ridges are created along the divergent plate boundary. New mid-oceanic ridges, MOR, is created along the divergent plate boundary. And the last point. At a part of convergence of at a part of convergence of oceanic crust with the continental crust. Convergence of oceanic crust with continental crust. The oceanic crust being heavier, is subducted inside the mantle, subducted मतलब pulled inside the mantle, comma, melts, full stop. These are the regions of ocean deeps or trenches. These are the regions of ocean deeps or trenches. Ocean deeps or trenches. अब important है evidences of sea floor spreading. Can you tell me क्या क्या evidences है diagram में? Age of the rocks. Second, the height of the mountains. The maximum height of the mountain is seen near the mid-oceanic ridge. क्यों? याद करो फर्स्ट लेक्चर, एंडोजेनेटिक प्रोसेसेस जहां डोमिनेंट है वहां पे द हाइट विल बी ग्रेटर, एक्सोजेनेटिक प्रोसेसेस जहां डोमिनेंट है वहां पे द हाइट विल बी लेसर. थर्ड, टेम्परेचर इज ऑलवेज नियर द मिड ओशनिक रिज हाई. क्यों? वॉल्केनिक इरप्शंस. फोर्थ, मैग्नेटिक एनामोलीज, क्योंकि ये प्रोसेस बहुत धीरे हो रहा है. सो नॉर्मल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, रिवर्स मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, नॉर्मल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, रिवर्स मैग्नेटिक फील्ड. ही देयर इज अ फिफ्थ, presence of trenches. And last, continental crust versus oceanic crust का age. पहले the age of the rocks, fine. Last इन दोनों का age. That is ये point, fine. These are the evidences of seafloor spreading. First evidence is presence of mid-oceanic ridge. Presence of mid-oceanic ridge. Mid-oceanic ridge, which is the longest mountain chain on the earth. Which is the longest mountain chain on the earth. This mid-oceanic ridge is present in all the oceans except Pacific Ocean. Except Pacific Ocean. क्यों नहीं है पैसिफिक ओशन में? Not because single plated नहीं. Because Pacific Ocean was once a panthalassa and it is now reducing in size. Mid-ocean sea floor spreading says ये सिर्फ उसी ओशन में रहेगा which are increasing in size. So which are the new oceans? Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean. Pacific Ocean तो compress हो रहा है दो साइड से. So इसलिए mid oceanic ridge नहीं है Pacific Ocean में. Can you draw the diagram I am drawing? अब से टाइम आ गया है कि यू शुड नो नाउ द वर्ल्ड मैप. जितना छोटा बनाओगे उतनी गलतियां कम पता चलेगी. वैसे तो डिटेल में यहाँ पे 3-4 होनी चाहिए लाइंस, बट दिस इज मोर देन इनफ. सो इफ यू लुक, ये है लॉन्गेस्ट माउंटेन सिस्टम. ये जितनी भी रेड लाइन है इट इज अनब्रोकन. कोई भी स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट हो सकता है, कोई भी एंडिंग पॉइंट हो सकता है. 78,000 किलोमीटर्स के लिए. देखो, इन द इंडियन ओशन ऑल्सो इट इज इन द मिडल, इन द अटलांटिक ओशन ऑल्सो इट इज इन द मिडल, बट इन द पैसिफिक ओशन इट इज इन द ईस्ट. क्यों? रिमेंबर कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट. वैगनर ने कहा था कि नॉर्थ एंड साउथ अमेरिकन प्लेट आर पुशिंग टू द वेस्ट, एंड देयरफॉर मे बी एक जमाने में दिस वाज द मिड ओशनिक रिज, अब इट हैज बिकम ईस्ट पैसिफिक राइज. रिमेंबर, अगर नॉर्थ एंड साउथ अमेरिका इस तरफ मूव करेंगे तो व्हाट विल हैपन टू दिस मिड ओशनिक रिज? गेटिंग इट? किसकी स्पीड ज़्यादा है नॉर्थ अमेरिका की एज कम्पेयर टू साउथ अमेरिका? इसलिए एस शेप्ड. ये थोड़ा आगे बढ़ गया, ये थोड़ा पीछे रह गया, इसलिए अटलांटिक ओशन इज ऑल्सो एस शेप्ड. मैंने रेलवे ट्रैक जैसी लाइंस क्यों बनाई ऐसे? डाइवर, दिस इज अ नोमेनक्लेचर. व्हेन यू आर गोइंग नाउ इन ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल, यू शुड यूज इंटरनेशनल नोमेनक्लेचर्स. मतलब कल पूछा कि एक माउंटेन मार्क करो एटलस में, पेपर 2 में, ऐसे नहीं मार्क करोगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आता है नंदा देवी इंडिया के मैप में, ऐसे नहीं करोगे नंदा देवी. यू विल हैव टू मार्क लाइक दिस. फाइन. अगर आता है यमुना, तो ऐसे लाइन नहीं ड्रॉ करोगे यमुना, मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. यू विल हैव टू शो यमुना एंड यू विल हैव टू शो गंगा एंड देन लाइक दिस. व्हाई? बिकॉज यमुना इज अ ट्रिब्यूटरी ऑफ गंगा. सोनार, सोनारी, कोई और टेक्निक है नहीं, उधर जाना पॉसिबल नहीं है. सिर्फ द ओनली पर्सन हु हैज गॉन टू द डीपेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ मरीना ट्रेंच इज जेम्स कैमरून, जिसने टाइटैनिक बनाई थी, बिकॉज उसकी हॉबी है वो. 12 किलोमीटर्स डीप पूरा. He is the only person to have gone in Challenger Deep. Challenger Deep is the deepest part of Marina Trench. He had made a special equipment, a special submarine. Temperature इतना नहीं high होता, pressure is very high. Pressure is so high, big submarines cannot, but he had taken a very small submarine. It was more like a submarine, it was a capsule, and that capsule went below, and that then capsule had some kind of a mechanism through which he could come up. Capsule and submarine के बीच का difference जो cartoon में दिखाया था, that was a capsule that can go deep. Submarines cannot go deep. Submarines तो just below the surface. I've seen the movie Ghazi Attack. So Ghazi Attack में submarine goes deep, pressure increases and then it bursts. Fine. Reason? Because between this सी माउंट एंड ग्यूयॉत, पाकिस्तान को पता था कि दिस सबमरीन विल पास थ्रू दिस, सो यहाँ पे उन्होंने बॉम्ब रखे थे. फाइन. सो नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. This has been your prelims question also, which is the most longest mountain system in the world. Option was mid-Atlantic ridge. नहीं. Second option था mid-oceanic ridge. Third option था Himalayas. Fourth option था Andes. Fine. Answer is mid-oceanic ridge. Second. हाइट में तो हिमालयास, माउंट एवरेस्ट हाइट में हिमालयास. वो सी माउंट पर वो ऐसे नहीं आएगा. क्वेश्चन आएगा हाईएस्ट रिलीफ फीचर ऑन द अर्थ मेजर्ड फ्रॉम लैंड, मेजर्ड फ्रॉम सी टू द सरफेस, फिर वो आएगा हवाई. पर इतना डिफिकल्ट, मतलब मैं बता, हम बाद में करेंगे ही वो, बट डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन आएगा विच इज द हाईएस्ट माउंटेन, तो यही आएगा माउंट एवरेस्ट, हिमालयस. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, presence of continuous volcanic eruptions. Continuous volcanic eruptions. Continuous volcanic eruptions. Bracket में silent, or you should know the other word also, fissure type. Fissure means crack. Fissure type. Fissure type. And therefore high temperatures. Third, presence of earthquakes. Which explains Q earthquake, sea floor is spreading, shaking, which explains that sea floor spreads. It has now been proved that Indian Ocean spreads at the rate of 2 centimeters per year, while Atlantic is spreading at the rate of 5 to 6 centimeters per year. 5 to 6 centimeters per year. Next, evidence. 5 to 6 centimeters. 5 to 6 मतलब 3 सेंटीमीटर एक तरफ, 3 सेंटीमीटर दूसरी तरफ. हाँ, वहाँ पे भी अर्थक्वेक, वहाँ पे तो ज़्यादा पावरफुल अर्थक्वेक, बट वो प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थियरी कहती है, वो सी फ्लोर स्प्रेडिंग कुछ नहीं कहता. सी फ्लोर स्प्रेडिंग सिर्फ इस पार्ट को फोकस करता है. इसलिए अगर ये प्लेट टेक्टोनिक का डायग्राम होता तो आवर डायग्राम वुड हैव चेंज्ड. आवर डायग्राम वुड हैव बीन लाइक दिस. बिकॉज इट इज अ सी फ्लोर स्प्रेडिंग का डायग्राम, तो इतना डिटेल में बनाने की जरूरत नहीं. ये अगर प्लेट टेक्टोनिक का होता तो ऐसे होता डायग्राम. गेटिंग इट? डेंसर है इंडियन प्लेट इसलिए एज कम्पेयर टू द अटलांटिक प्लेट. इंडियन प्लेट का सिर्फ ऑस्ट्रेलिया वाला पार्ट एंड इंडिया वाला पार्ट ही सियाल है, बाकी तो पूरा ओशन है. तो बट एजेस में क्या है? इंडियन प्लेट डेंसर है बीच में. कन्वर्जेंस कहाँ पे हो रहा है? एशिया के पास एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया के पास. ऑस्ट्रेलिया का भूल जाओ, एशिया के पास हो रहा है. एशिया के पास जो कन्वर्जेंस हो रहा है सियाल है या सीमा है? सियाल है. तो दोनों कॉन्टिनेंटल प्लेट है इसलिए सबडक्शन नहीं है. सबडक्शन नहीं है इसलिए स्पीड slow है. Indian plate is colliding with the Eurasian plate. Had Indian plate been सीमा मतलब ocean crust होता तो it would have been denser. Had it been denser वो subduct होता. Had it been subducting तो speed increase होती. But अभी क्या हो रहा है? अब subduction नहीं हो रहा है. Fine? Earthquake के लिए and volcanoes नहीं है. Next point. Rocks equidistant away from mid-oceanic ridge are of same age also the height of the ridges goes on decreasing away from the mid-oceanic ridge, Understood this point? Everyone? Next. The studies of magnetic field. कौन सा पैलियो या जियो क्या है ये? पैलियो मैग्नेटिज्म. और ब्रैकेट में आइसोक्रोन्स, ये भी एक वर्ड याद रखना. आइसोक्रोन्स, आइसो मीन्स सेम, क्रोन्स मतलब मैग्नेटिक. सो कहाँ सेम मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है, कहाँ डिफरेंट मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है. द स्टडी ऑफ आइसोक्रोन्स means equal magnetic fields have shown alternate normal and reverse magnetic anomalies full stop. यहाँ पे Wine and Matthews, V-I-N-E, Wine and Matthews conducted a survey of floor of the ocean, Indian Ocean, and found that rocks equidistant away from the mid-oceanic ridge show normal and reverse polarity. As the magnetic field reverses after every 1 lakh year, after every 1 lakh year. Therefore, the rocks formed have different magnetic polarities. एक्सप्लेन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ये सिर्फ एक एविडेंस है, हमें इसको लिखना नहीं है क्यों. बट सबको याद है डायग्राम द वीडियो, फाइन नॉर्मल एंड रिवर्स मैग्नेटिक पोलैरिटी, फाइन. क्योंकि जो रॉक वॉज फॉर्म ड्यूरिंग द नॉर्मल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड दे आर प्रेजेंटिंग टू प्रेजेंट नॉर्थ एंड साउथ. जब फ्लिप होके फॉर्म हुआ था दे आर having different magnetic polarity as the black color rocks. They may be south may be facing north, north may be facing south. जो उससे एक साल पहले बना था again, fine, understood? So this was found when the normal magnetic field was there. 1 lakh year before there was a reverse magnetic field. उससे 1 lakh year before there was a normal magnetic field, and so on. And therefore we have the, remember the video? Right, so you can have to draw this diagram and then write. वो क्यों? ईस्ट में. See, Pacific Ocean was once a major ocean. So there was a continent in the middle and बाकी का was the Pacific Ocean. So if we consider only Pacific Ocean, there was a mid-oceanic ridge also in the Pacific Ocean at the middle. But what we have proved by the continental drift theory, कि the Pangaea, that is the North and South America, which was the part here. Suppose if this is the Pacific Ocean, uska mid-oceanic ridge, and this was the Pangaea. It has broken and North and South America are moving westwards. So because they are moving westwards, जो mid-oceanic ridge है, it has now is not in the middle, but it is in the eastern side. Why in the eastern side? Because the North and South America has moved westwards. Getting it? ये पहले बीच में था. For example, ये कुर्सी पहले बीच में थी, अब कुर्सी की पोजीशन वही है, बट मैं टेबल को इधर ले आया. सो टेबल इज नॉर्थ एंड साउथ अमेरिका. सो एज कंपेयर टू द नॉर्थ एंड साउथ अमेरिका, पैसिफिक ओशन में देयर इज इन द मिडल. इट इज नॉट इन द मिडल, इट इज इन द ईस्टर्न साइड. पहले वेयर वाज नॉर्थ एंड साउथ अमेरिका? हियर. दैट टाइम देयर वाज नो अटलांटिक ओशन, so it was a proper mid-oceanic ridge. Now North and South America has drifted to the west. What Wegener had said. So Pacific Ocean में there is no mid-oceanic ridge. It is East Oceanic ridge. It is on the east. It is not in the middle. Middle means it is not here, somewhere in between. It is on the eastern side. वही हो रहा है, था पहले, अब वो एनक्लोज हो रहा है. Fine. And the last evidence. Numerous theories regarding the origin of the earth. Numerous theories regarding, ये लास्ट में इसलिए लिखना है क्योंकि you will understand the language. Numerous theories regarding the origin of the earth have proved that continental crust and the oceanic crust were formed at the same time. Have proved that continental crust and the oceanic crust were formed at the same time. But studies have proved that continental crust is 4.2 billion years old. अर्थ का एज क्या है? 4.5 billion years old. Continental crust is 4.2 billion years old, similar to the age of the earth. But oceanic crust is only about 200 million years old. ये भी oldest बता रहा हूँ, youngest नहीं कह रहा हूँ. 200 million years old. Full stop. 200 million years. Billion मत लिखना. Million. एक billion है, एक million है. This proves that oceanic crust is continuously created along mid-oceanic ridges and destroyed along the trenches. Continuously created along the mid-oceanic ridges and destroyed along the trenches. कौन से साल में? 1960. 1860 प्रिंसिपल ऑफ यूनिफॉर्मिटिज्म किसने दिया था? हटन. यूजिंग द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ यूनिफॉर्मिटिज्म, कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थियरी, वेगनर. रिजेक्टेड कन्वेक्शनल करंट थियरी 1940s, सी फ्लोर स्प्रेडिंग थियरी 1960 एंड प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थियरी fine. Idea of drifting of continents, continental drift से. Idea of sea floor spreading, divergent plate boundary, sea floor spreading से. Force, convectional current से. And therefore we do the grand theory, that is the plate tectonic theory. उससे पहले if you want to use anywhere, you can use this statement. It can be used anywhere. Continental drift के conclusion में, sea floor spreading के conclusion में, या plate tectonics के introduction में. Fine. Tuzo-Wilson, T-U-Z-O, T-U-Z-O, Tuzo-Wilson. Tuzo-Wilson used or combined the concept of continental drift, and sea floor spreading to develop the theory of plate tectonics. Combine the concept of continental drift and sea floor spreading to develop the theory of plate tectonics. Fine. There is a famous Wilson ka cycle in which he properly told that Pangea, which Wegener said was not the first Pangea, it was the fourth Pangea. उससे पहले ऐसा ही एक सुपर कॉन्टिनेंट था 3 बार, and 250 million years afterwards there is again one more super continent. कैसे होगा कॉन्टिनेंट? जो कोलाइड कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे कॉन्टिनेंट होगा. So we'll see what is colliding. First understand what is the plate tectonic theory. Can I rub this? What do you understand by plate? solid block of crust. It can be either oceanic crust or it can be either continental crust. It can be continent, it can be oceanic, but the solid block is what is known as plates. अब ये plates किससे बने हैं? This plates are made up of, understand, crust and uppermost mantle. First understand, ये बहुत simple है points में, फिर लिखने का is formality if you understand. It is made up of uppermost mantle. So these plates which are there is known as lithosphere. Crust and uppermost mantle, which are floating on semi-solid asthenosphere. It has now been proved. There is no Sial floating on Sima, but both Sial and Sima, that is the oceanic crust and the continental crust, are floating on the asthenosphere. Why? Because convectional currents are generated in the asthenosphere. Is this plate same? No. Plates are broken. हमने देखा how they are broken. कुछ कुछ बहुत बड़े हैं, such as Indian plate, North American plate, South American plate, African plate, Eurasian plate. Fine? Pacific plate. Some are very very small, like Arabian plate. So plates क्या है? पूरा अर्थ. Imagine a boiled अंडा फिर से. So upper part is crust, उसके बाद it is mantle, उसके बाद it is core. अब वो अंडे का छिलका, you are cracking it. So the cracked part of the lithosphere is what is known as plates, and these plates are constantly in motion. Why they are broken at certain points? Because they are the weak points. This was the part which was very weak, and therefore the convectional currents which come from the asthenosphere could break them. Fine? If I pull apart this book, where it will be broken? The part which is weak. Fine? Once it is broken, if I again pull it, where it will be broken? Again the part which is weak. So plates can be created anywhere, plates can be joined anywhere. It depends upon the convectional currents. Fine? So for example, इंडिया पहले ऐसा था, फिर अरेबियन प्लेट ने इस ब्रोकन पार्ट को और तोड़ दिया एंड बन गया द गल्फ ऑफ खंबात. Fine? So new plates can be created. For example, the USA or North America once upon a time was like this. Then a new plate was created and ऐसे टूटते गया. And we have the California part. In future, this will be broken from the North America. This is how the gaps are created. So plates are created and destroyed. And when the plates are created and destroyed, जो effect है creation and destruction का, that is after destroying or after breaking, the plates will move in different directions. And because they move in different directions, therefore it is known as tectonic. Tectonic means movement. Plates means this solid slab of lithosphere which floats on the asthenosphere. Tectonics is का movement. And because of movement, whatever the effects that are seen is what is known as, so these two plates are coming near each other, are colliding, and because of colliding, only some part is getting affected. Which part is getting affected? Boundaries. Fine? So because of this movement, we say there will be effect on the plate boundaries. And what kind of the movement are seen on the boundaries? Depends upon the movement. Agar both the plates move away from each other, we will call this as a divergent plate boundary. Fine? If both the plates move towards each other, we'll call this as a convergent plate boundary. If both the plates move parallel to each other, same direction में या अलग direction में, we'll call this as transform plate boundary. Fine. If the two plates are moving away from each other, what is going to happen? This is one plate. Fine. This is another plate. If they move away from each other, पहले समझ लो, लिखना बहुत आसान है, आंसर लिखने की जरूरत भी नहीं है. If you understand this, नीचे से magma will come up. कौन सा eruption है, violent या fissure? Fissure. So silent हमेशा, because it is getting space. And it will come up and solidify. क्यों plateau क्यों नहीं बनेगा, क्यों mountain नहीं बनेगा? Because ऐसे होगा जहाँ पे the crust is very weak. So which crust is weak? Oceanic crust, denser, and not denser की बात नहीं कर रहा है, thickness की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं. Where it is very very thin oceans, and therefore the oceanic plates will break, and therefore this will result into volcanic eruptions. It will result into formation of mid-oceanic ridges. It will result into earthquakes. How the earthquakes will be? 5.2 etc. on the Richter scale means not that strong. Now, if the two plates are moving past each other, this is one plate, this is one plate. They are just sliding past each other. Fine? Because they are sliding past each other, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. The only thing is, because we are living here, we will feel shaking, and therefore they will be associated with only most powerful earthquakes, and sometimes even the rift valleys. What are rift valleys? Those who are new to the subject, कुछ नहीं. Valley means खाई. जो खाई बनी है due to tearing of the earth, they are known as rift valleys. They are, you as of now understand, there will be only earthquakes. Is any crust created here? No. Crust creation के लिए magma has to come up and solidify. Is any crust created here? Yes, oceanic crust. Therefore, divergent plate boundary is also known as constructive plate boundary. Because nothing is created here, therefore it is also known as conservative. Nothing is created, nothing is destroyed. But complex हो जाता है in convergent plate boundary. Why it becomes complex? Because one plate is oceanic, one plate is continental. So based on this, the convergent plate boundaries are of three types. सबसे common ocean, continent convergence. क्या होता है in this? One plate is oceanic, one plate is continental. They will come near each other, they will collide. Because of collision, some parts will become folded. उसके बाद one plate is oceanic, which is denser, the other plate is continental, which is lighter. The denser plate will be subducted, pulled, resulting into formation of trenches. So understand what happens in this. Initially, the two plates will start moving near each other. ठीक है? अब when they will come near each other, the continental plate and the oceanic plate का some parts will be folded to form the fold mountains. After that, the oceanic plate will be subducted below because it is denser. या कोई भी denser plate will be subducted below. As it is subducted below, it will go deep inside the mantle. After reaching the depth of 80 kilometers, जहाँ पे there is a magma, the temperature increases to such an extent that it will melt. Fine? दोनों को शेड कर रहा हूं क्योंकि इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि सिर्फ कॉन्टिनेंट से बने माउंटेन. इट इज ऑफ अ सेडिमेंट्स ऑफ बोथ. इट विल मेल्ट. बिकॉज इट इज मेल्टिंग, द अमाउंट ऑफ मैग्मा हियर इंक्रीजेस. अब बिकॉज द मैग्मा इंक्रीजेस, यहां पे प्रेशर इज ग्रेटर. गेटिंग इट? कुछ ज्यादा हो गया इधर क्वांटिटी. कैन यू सी दिस? The magma is greater. What happens? This pressure which has increased, it will try to escape. आपके घर में भी होता है. Every day in the pressure cooker, you supply heat and that excess pressure tries to escape through whistle. So this pressure will try to escape, and due to because it is hot, it is lighter. ये ऊपर की तरफ आएगा. And after coming up, it will start flowing upwards. But mountains में उसको जगह मिलेगी नहीं. So it will solidify. But the subduction will keep on continuing. The magma ka melting will keep on increasing here, and therefore this magma will keep on trying to escape. Ultimately, इतना ज़्यादा pressure बढ़ेगा कि it will blow away the weakest part of the mountain. Which is the weakest part of the mountain? जहाँ पे सबसे कम surface है. So mountain is wide here, but it is very thin at the top. It is the weakest part, and therefore this will result into violent volcanic eruptions after blowing the top. So what we have in ocean convergence, ocean continental convergence. In the ocean continental convergence, we have first fold mountains. Himalayas nahi, because they are volcanic. क्योंकि क्यों है? Because subduction है. Why subduction is there? Because one place is lighter, the other is denser. We have जितना प्लेट नीचे जा रही है, जितना मेल्ट हो रही है, जितना हिल रही है, उतना you are also shaking. We have earthquakes. We have trenches. Trenches will always be parallel to the fold mountains. Example, Rockies, California Trench. Andes, Peruvian Trench. Fine? And we have violent volcanoes. What is happening to the crust? Is it created or destroyed? Destroyed. So कोई भी convergent plate boundary will be known as destructive plate boundary. ठीक है, ये समझ आया एवरीवन। अब दूसरा इज कॉन्टिनेंट कन्वर्जेंस। Mechanism is same. What is the mechanism? Two plates are coming near each other. But what is the difference? यहाँ पे one plate is continental, other is oceanic. यहाँ पे both the plates are continental. Because both the plates are continental, दोनों की density is same. Because दोनों की density is same, there will be no subduction. As there will be no subduction, there will be one of the most complex volcanic systems. Means the two plates come near each other, Indian plate, Asian plate, they collide, and because they collide, there is a formation of very complex mountain system known as Himalayas. Getting it? ये है Asian plate. But Indian plate is slightly denser. Why it is slightly denser? एटलस में हम देखेंगे, बिकॉज इंडियन प्लेट का मेजर पार्ट इज ओशियनिक, एशियन प्लेट का मेजर पार्ट इज कॉन्टिनेंटल. सो द पार्ट विच द प्लेट विच इज मोर ओशियनिक, इट विल बी स्लाइटली डेंसर. इतनी ज्यादा डेंसिटी नहीं है कि इट विल बी पुल्ड इनसाइड द मैंटल, बट इतनी ज्यादा डेंसिटी है कि इट स्लाइटली स्लाइड्स बिलो द एशियन प्लेट. सो इट कम्स, आई विल शो द इंडियन प्लेट बाय ब्लू कलर. इसका मतलब ये नहीं ओशियन है. इट कम्स एंड इट स्लाइटली गोज और स्लाइड्स बिलो द एशियन प्लेट. गेटिंग द डिफरेंस इन द टू डायग्राम. एक में इट इज बीइंग pulled deep inside the mantle. In this diagram, it is not getting pulled inside the mantle. It is just sliding below the Eurasian plate, and therefore it does not go deep, that is 80 kilometers deep, जहाँ पे temperatures are so high कि it will melt, and इसीलिए यहाँ पे pressure नहीं बढ़ता है, and therefore Himalayas don't have volcanoes. But उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? As soon as because both the plates are continental, इतना powerful है collision, because rocks है granitic, कि this becomes the highest mountain system in the world. Actually Indian plate slide करता है and slightly lift करता है Asian plate को ऊपर की तरफ, and therefore while the other mountains का height is somewhere around 5,000 to 6,000 meters, Himalayas की height is 8,000 meters. Fine. उसके बाद रिवर गंगा वो सब आती है और इस डिप्रेशन में मिट्टी भर देती है जहां आज हमारा लेक्चर हो रहा है. फाइन. अगर ट्रेंच होता तो गंगा नहीं भर सकती इतना डीप, बिकॉज ये नॉर्मल एरिया है, ज्यादा डीप नहीं है, इसलिए ग्रेट प्लेन्स. नहीं, इंडियन प्लेट सबडक्ट ही नहीं हो रहा है. इंडियन प्लेट स्लाइडली नीचे जा रहा है. एशिया को ऊपर ऊपर उठाते जाएगा वो. एस्थेनोस्फीयर में कब जाएगा? जब पूरा तमिलनाडु नीचे चला जाएगा, उसके बाद आएगा ओशियनिक क्रस्ट, तब जाएगा वो एस्थेनोस्फीयर के नीचे, उससे पहले नहीं जाने वाला. ओशियनिक क्रस्ट हैज टू गो. तो इंडियन प्लेट तमिलनाडु तक तो है ही, टिल तमिलनाडु इट इज देयर. सो तमिलनाडु जाने के लिए 5 सेंटीमीटर्स पर ईयर मीन्स 3,413 किलोमीटर्स जाने के लिए इट इज गोइंग टू टेक लॉन्ग नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स. फाइन. बट उतना भी नहीं होने वाला. द ओनली थिंग दैट इज गोइंग टू हैपन इज इंडियन प्लेट विल कम एंड कोलाइड विद द यूरेशियन प्लेट, और जहां आज हमारा लेक्चर हो रहा है वहां पे देयर विल बी द 4th पैरेलल रेंज ऑफ द हिमालयास. 3 तो बन चुके हैं, एंड देयर विल बी 4th पैरेलल रेंज ऑफ द हिमालयास, एंड दैट विल बी द स्टॉप. इक्विलिब्रियम आइसोस्टेसी विल बी मेंटेन्ड. अब प्लेट किसी और जगह से टूटेगी, ऑलरेडी टूटना शुरू हो गई है इंडो ऑस्ट्रेलियन प्लेट. फाइन. जहां आज हम खड़े हैं, दिस वाज नॉट अ प्लेस, दिस वाज वंस अ टेथिस सी. उसके बाद सेडिमेंट्स हो गए, उसके बाद डिप्रेशन बन गया बिकॉज इंडियन प्लेट, एंड फ्यूचर में जाके ये compress होके this will be the fourth parallel range of the Himalayas. So future का India will be Tibetan Plateau, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Shivaliks, fourth parallel range और Vindhyas. बीच में का एरिया गायब. Getting it? So but continent convergence में क्या होगा is this will be the highest fold mountains. But there will be no volcanoes. Why no volcanoes? Two reasons. No subduction, and one of the major reason is thickness of the earth crust is double. Below other mountains, thickness of the earth crust is 35 kilometers. Below the Everest, below Himalayas, the thickness of the earth's crust is 70 kilometers. We call this phenomena as doubling up of earth's crust. But there, what? Yeah. That time, crust and mantle and the asthenosphere. Now, plate tectonics says there is a lithosphere and asthenosphere. So, what is the lithosphere? Lithosphere is crust plus uppermost mantle. Yes, uppermost, very thin layer. Then starts asthenosphere. Uppermost mantle means around 30 kilometers. Not, it is, a mantle is from 30 to 2900 kilometers. So, the asthenosphere starts from 80 kilometers. Crust already is 30 kilometers. So 30 minus 80, only 50 kilometers ka part out of 2900 is solid in mantle. Getting it? But there are powerful earthquakes. And the last is, I'll take it from here only, ocean convergence. अब यहाँ पे क्या है? Both the plates are oceanic. Means if this is the plate and if this is the plate and if both of them are colliding, both of them are below the water body. So when they collide, obviously when anything collides क्या होगा? Folding will be there. So both the plates will be folded. But out of this, because now both is Seema and Seema is denser, obviously there will be subduction. But who will subduct depends upon many factors. The most important being density. Jiska density is greater, obviously it is going to subduct. If the density is same, jiska speed is greater, it is going to subduct. Fine? But the difference is, this will be below what? Oceans. Fine? Once it subducts, it will become a part of magma or lava. Magma means asthenosphere, it will become part of asthenosphere. Again, because there is a subduction, there will be increase and there will be volcanic eruptions. There will be increase, there will be volcanic eruptions. There will be increase, there will be volcanic eruptions and volcanic eruption. So, process is same. क्या differ कर रहा है? How strong will be the volcano or not? यहाँ पे also there is a trench, यहाँ पे also there is a trench, वहाँ पे there is no trench. But what you will find here is undersea volcanic mountains. But हम इसको कहेंगे arc-like islands, mountains which are coming below, जिसके पीक्स ऊपर दिखेंगे, एंड फिर हमें लगेगा कि ये कैरिबियन आइलैंड्स कैसे बने, और इंडिया, ये इंडोनेशिया कैसे बना. क्या है ये? पीक्स ऑफ द माउंटेन्स, आर्क लाइक शेप. क्यों आर्क लाइक शेप? जहां से पुश ज्यादा है उस दैट साइड इज आर्क लाइक इन शेप. सेकेंड, powerful earthquakes and very deep trenches, because you are measuring 0 kilometer from here, so again trenches. Example, Mariana Trench. And if volcanic eruption or earthquakes occurs here, will be powerful earthquakes and therefore understood. Plate tectonic theory explains everything. Yes, but बहुत कम. क्यों? क्योंकि डोंट गो बाय द डायग्राम. ये ऐसे जा रहा है, ये डिस्टेंस 1000 किलोमीटर 100 किलोमीटर का एटलीस्ट फर्क है. डायग्राम में छोटा लग रहा है, बट इन रियलिटी 100 किलोमीटर्स का फर्क है. हाँ, मैग्मा वहाँ से, मैग्मा क्या देखेगा? जहाँ से मुझे इजीएस्ट रूट है, सो इजीएस्ट रूट हमेशा डायरेक्टली ऊपर होता है, शॉर्टेस्ट रूट ऐसे ढूंढ के नहीं जाएगा. इसमें भी आएगी सुनामी, सुनामी दोनों में आएगी. कैलिफोर्निया. फाइन. पहले समझा कि नहीं बताओ, बिकॉज डिक्टेशन में हम, इसमें डिक्टेशन से ज्यादा वी विल टेक प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स का प्रिंटेड नोट्स. फाइन. डिक्टेशन हम आंसर में लिखेंगे, बट हैव यू अंडरस्टूड दिस? श्योरली. क्यों इंडोनेशिया बनता है, क्यों जापान बना है? नहीं, नॉट बिकॉज कुछ कुछ पार्ट पीछे रह गया, बट बिकॉज ऑफ ओशन ओशन कन्वर्जेंस. क्यों इंडिया does not have volcano? Because it is continent convergence. Why Andes and Rockies are formed? Not because of folding of Sial over Sima, but continent ocean convergence. Fine? Everyone? So we will meet tomorrow. I will leave you early today because एक 5 बजे न्यू बैच स्टार्टिंग. तो आज मुझे थोड़ा जल्दी जाना है. राइट. ये खत्म होते हैं, एंडोजेनेटिक फोर्सेस खत्म है. सो आई हैव गिवन यू अ ब्रीफ आइडिया. इसी को हमें लिखना है, बट वी आर गोइंग टू राइट इन वेरी सिंपल वर्ड्स. व्हाई इट इज नोन एज डिस्ट्रक्टिव प्लेट बाउंड्री, व्हाई कंस्ट्रक्टिव, व्हाई ट्रांसफॉर्म प्लेट बाउंड्री. फाइन. अब क्या नेगेटिव है प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स का? मेंटल प्लूम इट कैनॉट एक्सप्लेन. दैट इज हॉटस्पॉट्स. वी विल डू दैट टुमारो. Fine? That is, it cannot explain. ठीक है, it explains everything कि there plate boundaries पे why there are mountains, but it cannot explain. कभी कभी प्लेट के बीच में भी, जैसे ये प्लेट है, उसके बीच में also there is volcano, वो explain नहीं कर सकता. That I will deal with tomorrow. Fine?